they're all kind of projects that's close to me because I mean, like the voting, we're seeing it not just in the States, all over the world. Even though I listen to Patrick Bet David, I see that in Brazil there's a lot going on there. You know, they've realized same thing. It doesn't, nothing looks right. You've got three very interesting projects. So let's get to know Kyle a little bit better. How, what's your kind of career and how your own kind of thought process? Something's wrong. I need to start making changes to this world.
Well, thanks for having me. My background is actually in electrical engineering. That was my formal training when I was in college. I ended up not going into a regular electrical engineering job, but instead started my own business called Action Target a number of years ago, and basically built that business up from the bootstraps, learning pretty much every lesson the hard way because I was too stubborn to take good advice from other people. But that company eventually became a success. And I hoped early on in the business that I would just be able to be an engineer and just design things and make things. But as it turned out, I had to learn some management skills, and I eventually had to learn accounting. I had to learn finance and a bunch of different things that were really stretching me. And so I also ended up having to do a lot of programming for my own business. That was back in the day, actually even before the internet. And I had to program my own software in order to make the company run. And so I ended up getting experience in programming and in finance and in a bunch of broad areas. When it came time to retire from Action Target, I started writing, just writing articles, and eventually put that together into what I call a book. It's an online book. I haven't ever committed it to print, although you can download it. And I published that on the gotchoices.org website. It just kind of expressed my views, what I'd learned, what I thought about things. And that book ended up covering three topics kind of in detail. One was education, one was energy, and one was monetary policy, and how these different pivots, I call them, kind of affect the degree of freedom that people have in the world, and how able we are to kind of choose the things that we want to do. And subsequent to writing that, I ended up delving back into that, writing a second book, which I called the My Chips Papers. I had originally proposed maybe an alternative way of doing money, as opposed to the central banking model we use today. It was more of a distributed model called the CHIPS banking system. And the My Chips paper came out and took that to the next level and said, let's actually design this. Let's make a form of digital currency that could actually work. How would we design it? And I guess I was naively hoping that as soon as I published this, people would latch onto this. This was around the time Bitcoin was coming out, and I kind of hoped people would latch onto it and it would become a thing. But it was fairly obscure and was lost in the rage of blockchain and Bitcoin. And so I ended up programming much of this myself and creating what today is, I would say, is a proof of concept, which includes a mobile app and a server and some free software, open source software that people can download and use. And so that's kind of the background, how I developed into this. I studied economics and kind of rounded out my experience. And so now I'm kind of a weird duck because I have expertise in engineering and also business and also finance and also economics. And so now I spend my time trying to make things available that will make life a little bit better for other people and expand freedom and choice. And My Chips is really one of the highlights of the Got Choices Foundation, and VoteTorrent is an up and coming close second that is soon to be released.